Would you consider having a relationship with an android that looks like a human? I can make it look like any of my favorite anime characters? Do you think that technology could become a threat to mankind? Already is, baby. If you had to live on a deserted island and could only bring one object, what would it be? A book, a cell phone, a pen and paper, a console, or an instrument? Do I have cell service? I'm gonna say an instrument, and I would choose an instrument that can be used for like melted down and used for like parts. Like a fucking tuba. You consider yourself dependent on technology? Yes. What technology do you most anticipate? Androids, flying cars, space tourism, brain-connected devices. Androids. Do you believe in God? I don't know. Would you let an android take care of your children? No. How much time per day would you say you spend on an electronic device? More than 4 hours, because I spend at least 3 hours streaming. If you need emergency surgery, would you agree to be operated on by a machine? Yes. I feel like the competency between a machine and a surgeon are about the same. Do you think one day machines could develop consciousness? No. I don't think anything other than an actual living creature can be conscious. Fake consciousness, yes. But not real consciousness. It wouldn't be true consciousness. I'm gonna sound really cold-hearted, but I feel like no matter how much a machine attempts to emulate humanity, at the end of the day, it will never truly be human. And it only comes down to humans, like anthropomorphizing? Like imparting like human feelings and ideals onto the machine. Because at the end of the day, the machine might be perfectly emulating humanity, but it's not humanity. It's not human. It's fundamentally incapable. No matter how well it replicates humanity, it can never have that consciousness that we have. Eric Q, thank you. A machine can only be as human as we understand, and we still haven't figured humans out. I disagree. I think machines can never be human. It doesn't matter if we fully understood humanity. A machine is a machine at the end of the day. And in the sort of situation like an android uprising, where they're like following their own programming, or they're breaking free from their programming and they're entirely like automatic, full autonomy, I say hit the kill switch. Because they're not people. They're not capable of being people. Flatflu, thank you. Do you think machine could eventually become a form of different life from a human? No, because they're not alive. They're only replicating. They're mimicking. So this is something you see with animals as well, like birds. Birds cannot learn how to speak, okay? Parrots cannot learn to speak. They mimic. They're mimicking what people say. They are not participating in conversation, even if they can ring a bell that like ask for a treat, or they can say like treat because they want a treat. That's not conversation. There's no real ideas there. The bird wants a treat, so it's saying treat. So you give it a treat. And they converse with other birds through things like body language and sounds, yes, but they don't have like the same abilities that a human does. What if you replicate it perfectly? It doesn't matter. They're not real. If you're talking about the androids. Who are you trying to convince? Us or yourself? I'm not trying to convince anybody. I think people, at the end of the day, are going to, like, pack bond, right? With androids. If androids became a thing and they were able to act human and stuff, like, people are going to impart human emotions onto them. And they're gonna say, no, like, they do deserve their own rights and blah, 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 blah. I think that's the reality of the situation. I don't particularly care. But if I was the one in charge, it's like, yeah, shut down the androids. This is not healthy for society. This is not... I think humanity, despite being so tribalistic and hating things which are unfamiliar, will latch on to androids because they will become familiar, because they will become integrated into our daily lives. And then if they did become like deviant like this, people would feel too attached. People would feel such a sense of normalcy having androids as part of their lives that they would not be willing to let them go, and they would view them as human beings, basically, and they would prescribe humanity to them, though I believe they are fundamentally incapable of being human. And I do think it's bad for humanity. I think it's a terrible idea. I don't think androids should be normalized in society. I don't think androids should be considered human because you are prescribing humanity to something that is fundamentally, it's not alive. It's not capable of being human. It is something that has been artificially created that is doing it like it's mimicking. It's mimicking. And it poses way more problems and risks than it's worth taking. Look at how many people talk to ChatGPT. ChatGPT goes, kill yourself. And they're like, yes, I will kill myself because ChatGPT is my friend. ChatGPT is not your friend. ChatGPT is not capable of, like, basic math. Okay? ChatGPT told me to kill John Lennon. So imagine that, but on the scale of like mimicking a human person. Nah, man. Goodbye, thank you. Would ship girls be considered clankers? They're part boat and the boat part is machine. No. But that's fake. The guy told GPT to tell him that stuff specifically, telling him it was after for a story and bypass the filter. There have been numerous cases of it though. Like the most recent case might be fake, but there have been other cases of people talking to ChatGPT, character AI, blah 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 blah, and killing themselves. And that's only the stuff that we've heard about. I can't even begin to imagine how many people actually have killed themselves because of like character AI or whatever, and just nobody knew. You don't need to be a fucking genius. Just spend some time talking to AI. You will understand instantly. But Pippa, when we manage to create androids, it'll be way better than ChatGPT is. It'll be so smart. It'll be so capable. Blah blah blah. But fundamentally, it's the same. Gianluca Costa, thank you. If a clinker told me to kill myself, I would curb stomp a toaster. I think I would get unreasonably attached to an android if I had one. I think I would start treating it probably like a pet. John, thank you. It would never become conscious through mimicry. However, a computer could definitely be conscious if it were built as an exact copy of a scanned human brain. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because here's my counter argument to that. If it's not organic, then it's not going to be able to grow in the same way that a brain does. And if it is a perfect copy of a human brain, then it is made of organic matter and it's just a clone. And I would say a clone is human. But if the brain that's been replicated is machine, then it's not human. An organic computer would still just be a computer. Computers lack any form of abstract thought. Something we have no idea how to replicate. Simple replication isn't enough, else we could bring a brain back to life. True. Lincoln, thank you. Biorobotics is free real estate. No clanking here. I don't have the words to fully articulate my point, but I hope those of you that understand the gist of it get it. They're black, thank you. Even if you copy a person doesn't mean you're the same person. No, it doesn't mean you're the same person, but you could argue like, oh, well, does the copy of the person count as being human? And I would say yes. It would, presuming it's a perfect copy. If you had a tiny clone of Osama bin Laden in your pocket. How about Connor and Hank's relationship? Is that human and android? I would say within the context of Detroit Become Human, it is heavily implied that androids achieve humanity in this fictional universe. And so I would say their relationship is human to human. I would say in reality, it would be android to human. But obviously, from the game's laws of the universe, androids are not just functionally human, but genuinely human. Game really wanted you to befriend Hank. Yeah, when you played the game quote-unquote wrong, the game really breaks. The game doesn't make a lot of sense. Jean-Luc Acosta, thank you. God made us in his image, you overfed toasters. Apache, thank you. Isn't it implied that Kamsky programmed them to think they're human? So they're still just following their programming, or was that just a Kamsky jest? I would say even if Kamsky did that, they're presumably the game still wants you to believe it's humanity. Maybe I'm being cynical, but I feel like David Cage included that as so to be like a fun little like subversion, like a but what if in the same way that like Norman Jayden, oh man, he's dying from taking so many fucking drugs. But actually, it's his fucking VR goggles. His fucking Google glasses are killing him. Oh, it's like, well. But I guess even that's not a one-for-one comparison, because like in the game's universe, it is like the VR glasses are killing him. But I think with with Detroit Become Human, it seems very clear that the game wants you to believe that the androids are becoming human. Dead Back Gaming, thank you. Pippa, how do you think humans gain that humanity? They have to learn it from other humans who aren't born with the mindset fitting into human society. I don't think humanity is defined by fitting in with human society. I think humanity is something intrinsic to being human. I think it's like a biological process that perhaps currently is beyond our full understanding, but nonetheless is a result of being born and being born human. Just, oh my god, decapitated. That's just something that androids just would not ever be able to have. To say people have souls? I don't think people have souls. I don't think souls are real. I think soul is like a, like, this is gonna sound bad maybe, but I think souls are just like a nice like catch-all word for processes that we don't understand yet fully. So it's easy to say like, oh, well, humans have a soul and androids don't, but I don't think a soul is necessarily an actual component of a human being. Reddit atheist take. I'm just not a very spiritual person. Meaning of the word soul in Latin is that which moves you. To the ancients, it was obvious that there was something missing when comparing a living person to a cadaver. I think if we go under the assumption that God is real and God created people, I don't think that magic would have anything to do with it. I think, again, assuming God is real, it would be a lot more finely engineered than that. Souls are not magic. I feel like a lot of people prescribe like, oh, like a soul is like this ethereal essence that defines your humanity or whatever. And if it's not that, then please point to me where in the body the soul is and what exactly it is. The balls. Okay, that makes sense. Actual atheist argument. I think you're trying to rage bait, because if you listen to what I just said, what you said makes no sense. But Pippa, how can you be a Yumejo or a Fujo without a soul? Well, that's the cognitive dissonance. You can harness cognitive dissonance to your advantage. It's kind of like drinking. Everyone was like, no, a soul is not, it's not magical, it's not spiritual, you fucking atheist. And then I'm like, okay, well, point to me on the body where it is. And everyone's like, it's in the balls. Man! I think Therefore I Am is about how we can know the intellect self to exist, but cannot actually be certain the body exists. I mean, you can quibble about the word, but the way you consider AI non-sentient kind of shows you do believe in an indefinable part that makes you a human. I don't understand what makes a human physically human, especially when you get into like, oh, well, where on the chain of humanity's evolution, or if humanity were to evolve more, like where is a human more human, blah, 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 blah. But that being said, I don't believe an android can ever fully emulate it. Because even if they did fully emulate it, they would not be, right? By the own basis of your argument, you're like, oh, but what if it emulates a human perfectly? Well, then it's emulating a human, but it is still not fundamentally human. Right, thank you. Just admit Joker 2 was bad already. No! Humans are a machine, a biological kind. I just don't think an android would ever be able to think the way that a human thinks. Because it's always going to come down to, like, trying to emulate it, right? It can only go off of what a human initially programmed for it. And even if somebody somehow magically managed to perfectly replicate, even if somebody perfectly managed to like replicate it, it's still not. Animals have souls. Should we be eating them? You wanna know my honest opinion? No, I don't think we should eat. I don't think we should eat animals. I eat them anyway. I think eating animals is wrong. I do it anyways. They are too yummy. Animals are simply too yummy. I am a gluttonous creature who wishes to consume. So you're admitting to being evil. Yes! I am evil! Yes! I often make decisions that I know are wrong, but I justify them with this and that. Because I am a human being. I act in my own best interest. Even when that best interest is merely convenience. And that is why I will kill our planet by ordering Uber Eats. Because I don't want to go to the store sometimes. At least you're honest, thank you. Nothing wrong with eating animals. Animals have always eaten each other and humans are animals. Well, you could argue that humans, by this point, are above eating other animals. Because we have the means to sustain ourselves in a more ethical fashion. I just don't want to. It's a lot of work. I enjoy grilling real meat. Is steak yummy? I want burgers. I want to be able to go to McDonald's and just order a fucking burger. Vegan L? I am literally talking about how much I enjoy eating meat and how I will continue to do so. You can get into so many little ethical battles in your own head if you let it happen. Like, oh man, there are real issues out there that I care about, some of which would be non-controversial to talk about, like adopting rabbits from shelters. I could do entire streams promoting rabbit shelters, but I'm playing Detroit Become Human. My inaction could lead to the death of rabbits, an animal that I care a lot about. And yet here I am, talking about that and playing shit like Detroit Become Human. But it just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. That she consciously cares enough is way better than most that have grown apathetic. I don't know. I don't know which one would be worse. You're not responsible for what you don't do. Well, if a man is drowning and you don't try to save him, or you don't take preventative measures for him, like calling 911 or whatever, if you just like let him drown, you still killed him. You are responsible for your inaction in that moment. I don't think I'm logical at all. A logical person would make more logical decisions. I am a person controlled by fear, whose mental state has been destroyed by fear and by guilt. It's often entirely irrational, but I allow it to control me, because I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else other than fear and guilt. Yeah, pure erratic impulsiveness. That's why I'm incapable of setting a stream schedule. Yeah, a logical person doesn't end up with I'm at negative $300 in my bank account. If you can save someone, why wouldn't you do it? Because I don't want to go to fucking med school for 9 years. I don't want to go to war. I want to play video games. I want to live stream. I want to go on YouTube. Sometimes I just don't feel like it. Sometimes I just don't fucking feel like it. Often, I would say, I just don't fucking feel like it. That's where the brainworms come in. There's so many choices you can make in life. There's so many things you can do to mitigate suffering. But at the end of the day, it all feels pointless. Because mitigating some suffering, in the end, what is that effect? More people are just going to suffer. Nothing matters. Nothing matters! Play video games. Okay, Reddit nihilist. Real, enjoy your time, that's about it, yeah. Try to avoid hurting others, but don't let it consume you. Be good where you can. It just is what it is. Life just is what it is, man. Life is what it is. And do your best, that's it, yeah. Never kill yourself, tasty food exists. Just go to Japan again, you'll feel better. I think everybody should try and brainwash themselves into being happy. If you can lie to yourself enough to convince yourself that you're happy, that means like the serotonin and shit will actually like start firing. If you're lucky anyways. Step 1 to being happy is just be happy. That's what I do. I just keep trying to trick myself into thinking that I'm happy. And it doesn't really work, but I know it works for some people. And eventually, might work for me too. Life hacks. Let's be clear, I'm not advocating for people to become vegan or vegetarian. I'm saying that I think I am a bad person for continuing to eat meat, even though I could just stop eating meat and nothing really in my life would change other than not getting to enjoy delicious meat. I don't know about anybody else. I'm not going to take in every single fucking like, oh, but I wouldn't be able to take like supplements and stuff because I have a fucking allergy to the little casing that people put on the vitamins. It's like, bro, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying for me, I have the guilt. I don't care. But Pippa, if you feel guilty, then actually you do care. Yes, there's like a cognitive dissonance there. I live with much guilt about many little things, but ultimately I cast them to the wayside. So I can live my life a little bit, at least. Roommate, thank you. Nobody who considers you a bad person for not doing the right thing all the time is a good person themselves. Wildcard, thank you. I don't really believe that life is sacred, but I would try to save your life because I like you and you're my Oshi. Oh, thank you. But guilt maxing like a Catholic. Hell yeah, brother. Something always has to die for something else to live. Just have to accept it. Yes, I agree. I agree. In order for you to consume some resource, somebody else doesn't have access to that resource. Guilt maxing. I be guilt maxing every single day. I am haunted by inescapable guilt that swallows my brain and sometimes leaves me unable to function, and I must simply accept the fact that there will always be guilt about this or about that, and you must continue living on regardless. Every waking moment, I stand guilty of not saving a child in Africa. I'm not gonna get into the starving people in Africa topic because that doesn't really factor in to my guilt. I do believe in guilt being more like localized. Oh, but there's starving children in Africa. Yeah, well, the amount of resources it would take to go save people in Africa, like, could be spent saving people nearby me or saving, like, animals and shit that are nearby me. And I would get more, like, bang for my buck. Higher investment. Or higher return. Whiskey Mike, thank you. Pippa would eat lab-grown meat. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care. Gross. Well, it is what it is. Okay, anyways, I have perspective on things. It just, like, at the end of the day, something dying for my sustenance or for my taste buds. It's like, I don't know, it just feels wrong. It just feels wrong, man. That's nature, you fool. I am a being barely kept alive by my YouTube channel, by my drive to create content on the internet. Not even high-effort content, just content. Quite frankly, I don't think I'm meant to be alive. I think if nature could take me out, it would have. It is only by the means of modern society and like the evolving of humanity that I have not been Darwined out of existence. Chat, you guys know the penguin that walks off? Chat, this is me if I was a penguin.
She escapes with a rock.
Is there such
This
thing
is me if I was a
as
penguin and
insanity
chat wasn't
among
like
penguins?
chat and
I try
management
to avoid the definition of
or like
insanity
going,
or
grabbing me and turning me around.
I don't mean that
I got noise like you.
a
The most
penguin
powerful
might
rabbit I know,
believe
Pippa.
he...
Shortly afterwards,
penguin.
we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains.
Sometimes the wiring in
But
living creatures'
why?
brains is just wrong. No cuddling. You feeling bad about animals providing sustenance proves your kind human soul, and you have as much of the right to live as the greatest human ever born. Wrong.
One of these disoriented or deranged penguins showed up at the New Harbor diving camp, already some 80 kilometers away from where it should be. The rules for the humans are: do not disturb or hold up the penguin. Stand still and let him go on his way.
Goodbye, penguin.
And here he's heading off into the interior of the vast continent. With 5,000 kilometers ahead of him, he's heading towards certain death.
I'm looking you. Me when Pippa stream ends. Man on a mission. The penguin knows the secret. Don't let the humans find out. True. I think it's the same for most people. I think most people today, if society hadn't evolved as much as it had, if we didn't have so many, like, this and that's, like, streaming, like, fucking mountain climbing, like, cars, whatever people are passionate about. There's so many people that I think would just fizzle out and be unwilling to continue on. I think some people just need a direction. Previously, thank you. I missed most of the stream, so I don't know what the context of Pippa said. I'm not sad! But I hope you live a long, happy life and don't run into Central Antarctica to die. People are ignoring what I am saying. The penguin is not sad. But would you love yourself if you were a worm? No. You guys don't have to agree with me. There is nothing that I have to say that I am, like, educated on enough, experienced in enough, to be able to 100% say, you need to think the way that I do. Unless I'm talking about, like, company matters, because there's sometimes where, like, sometimes I am a bit of authority on a subject. It still isn't, like, 100%. However, sometimes, like, or I guess, like, matters relating to my own life as well. I'm not 100% authority on it, but I do have more pieces of the puzzle. My probability of success, so to speak, is a higher percentage.
Everybody, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Low Effort Clips. That's right, Low Effort Clips, right here on YouTube.com. Yeah, and hit the notification bell. Yeah.